Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today we are diving into a temple collecting sets of goodies and using the power of bidding in Treasures of Cibola. This little game here is all about collecting sets of cards that are going to give you symbols. Those symbols will be worth some varying amount of victory points. Every round you are going to be bidding a secret amount of little meeple wooden bits simultaneously with everybody else. And as you reveal your hand, then we'll figure out who's going to be taking first. The game has a closed economy system, though. As you spend this bidding power, you're leaving it on the table, and eventually when someone bids nothing at all, they will take the pool of resources or split it if someone else also bid nothing. So it's an interesting sort of tight game, but also very light and very straightforward. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it works. Here we're going to be taking a look at the game for 4 players. To set up the game, we're going to divvy out the miniatures, the little meeples here, among all the players. So if we're playing with 4, everybody gets 6. If you're playing with 3, everybody gets 8, and so on. You are going to take this torch here. You're going to flip it up in the air, and whoever it's pointing to is the start player. So this player has the torch for right now. We are going to shuffle up these cards here and reveal 5 of them across the top. And these have some special abilities. So we'll have those. The rest can go away. And then we've shuffled up the 1 deck and the 2 deck. And we are going to reveal 4 of these. And we are ready to begin. The game is largely a set collection game, in which the players are going to be simultaneously bidding a number of these characters, these little meeple pieces, drafting these cards, using these stones to lock down values for the end of the game. So right now, let's say we've set all this up and everybody is going to bid. So obviously this would all be simultaneous in the hand and then the players would reveal, but I'm going to do it like this for right now. This player is going to bid 1, 2, this player is going to bid 3, and this player is also going to bid 2. All right. So let's say these are the bids. Everybody reveals them. Whoever bid the most is going to be the start player. This player is going to be the start player. If players tied, it goes from the person who has the torch here and then clockwise after them. So this player is going to draft one of these cards down here. You are collecting these symbols, which are going to be worth something at the end of the game. So let's take a look at the central board here. There are 3 different kinds of symbols, and every one of those is going to be worth some amount at the end of the game. Right now, you don't know what that amount is, though you do know the range. These, for example, can be worth anywhere from 5 down to -2, so very volatile, this one. This one is very strong. They could be worth all the way up to 9, but there's fewer of these. They're a little rarer. And then these over here might be worth nothing, might be worth 3. The 2 on the outsides are a majority race. It's not that many points per. It's just if you have the most, they might be worth one of these. And this right here is if you have the most of those, you're going to be losing points. You don't want those tokens, those symbols. So this player, again, is going to go first, and they are perhaps going to select this card right here. You'll notice that some of the cards also have a symbol across the top. This symbol ties to these cards, and this stone here has to do with these tokens. And so our winning player is going to select this card for themselves, and because of that symbol, they'll take one of the special abilities. They come in 2 flavors: endgame scoring, denoted by this symbol here, and immediate ability, denoted by this lightning symbol here. So they're going to take that, and they are going to claim this one that says it adds 3 points to the value of your feather shields. They've already taken 1, so this is pretty good. They're going to go ahead and claim that as well. These that they bid are spent. I'm going to put them right there for now. And then we go to the next player. These 2 are tied, like I said, but this player would go next. This player is going to take this card right here. They're going to take that. They'll place it there. These go away. We go to the next player. The next player is going to claim this one. This is a bad symbol. This one's good, though, and it does have the stone. So they're going to claim that, and they get to put a stone out. You can put a stone anywhere you want to, as long as you do not cover up the last symbol in some column. Since they already took one of these symbols, one of these, perhaps they want those to be worth something more than a -2, so they're going to cover that up there. And then the last player, this player right here, will take this one like so, and we go on to the next round where we flip over 4 new cards here, and the players bid again. Now you're probably thinking, okay, players are going to start running out of these little meeples pretty soon. Well, if you bid 0, then you get to take what's been spent. And if multiple players bid 0, then they'll split what's in here, all right? So that's how you get this closed economy going. You can bid nothing, be last in the taking, very likely, but then you get to replenish your pool. So the players perhaps will now go ahead and do that to try to get their economy back up. I should also point out the torch at the end of every round moves to whoever took the last card, in this case, this player right over here. So all the players are going to bid, some new stones are going to go out, some new tokens are going to be taken, and various things are going to be covered up. Perhaps someone covers that up, and then they'll cover these things. Might end up like this, for example. And then things are going to be worth a certain amount of victory points. The game's going to be over once we've gone through all of these 2 stacks of cards. Let's say that happened there. And then we figure out our final score. Who's got the most of these? That's worth 12 points. The entire set, not each. Every one of these is worth 2. Every one of these, 9. These are actually bad. They ended up being -1. And whoever has the most of these, which is never good, loses 7 points. There's also the special abilities over here. Some of them, as you take them, do special instantaneous abilities, like move a stone down 1 step. So perhaps a player takes that and lowers this one, revealing a better score, right? Or maybe they'll do that there. And some of them are, of course, like I said, endgame scoring. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is going to be the winner. All right, so that is the game. Let's talk about it, shall we? We're going to start from the top with the theme, the setting. It's nothing to write home about. It doesn't really stand out. The idea is supposed to be that as the players are sort of looting the place, the temple is collapsing. That's what those stones that block values are supposed to represent. Doesn't really translate. You don't lose anything. Why things might be worth more or less as the temple collapses doesn't really make any sense. And it's fine. It doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense. It's just not a theme, though, ultimately, that I would bring this to the table because of it, because of that theme. I'm barely going to be using it to teach. It's just window dressing. So let's talk about window dressing, the aesthetics. I think they're great, actually. I think the artwork here is really well done. Card quality is superb, really nice stuff. Really good rule book as well. I thought the rule book was clear. It's both succinct and concise, but it explains everything well. A scoring pad might have been nice. There are, a few different things you sort of need to deal with, and it might have been good to have a scoring pad in this one. Especially considering that the audience here, the game is listed for ages 8 and up, could have benefited from that and just made the whole thing a little friendlier if there was a scoring pad in it. Replay value, it's alright. There's not too much here to discover from session to session. And I also don't think the game scales particularly well. It's 2 to 4, but it's definitely better at 4. The reason for that being a mechanical reason. As you are taking cards, you flip over 4 cards, and when that's the case, the last player, whoever bid the least, has to take one. Well, some of these cards are just straight up bad, and if you play with only 3, that person who bid the absolute least and will take last still has a choice between 2 things. So you can avoid being stuck with something bad pretty easily. I think that the ability to not, or the lack of ability to avoid playing with 4 players means that you need to be careful when you run completely out of the little bidding meeples. Or at the very least, you need to think about that you might fully go out, and on the next turn, there be a bad card you can now not really avoid. So it just makes that pressure point a little more interesting, running out is riskier now if you play with a full amount of players. Game arc. It's got a really good ebb and flow to it as players become invested in specific symbols. As you are then looking around the table going, well, you're going for these feathered, symbols. So I'm blocking that because you're really invested in that. I need to make sure those are not worth a lot of points. I also might want to jump in on something someone else seems to really be pushing up in value. I'll get a little piece of that pie. There's also then the ebb and flow of the bidding itself, the currency in the game. Like I said, a closed system. So knowing not just when to go strong, but when to fall somewhere in the middle of the pack, when to bid nothing, be okay with the flop out there, and still reap some rewards to give you bidding power for the upcoming rounds. I think the timing in this one is simple, straightforward, nothing mind-breaking here, but clever and enjoyable, okay? The ease of play gets a big thumbs up. The game is very smooth, very easy to play, quick rounds. It is, it says 15 minutes on the box cover, and they mean it. It's a quick game. So no issues with the ease of play. This is one I could definitely see coming to the table frequently. Not because it's very replayable, not because it's very thinky, just because it's easy to teach and quick, And then lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. Certainly some luck with the revealed cards and with the bidding head-to-head. That's a mechanism not a lot of people like. I don't even particularly enjoy simultaneous bidding myself. Now, you put it in a closed economy system with this sort of money moving around among the players, and I like it a little more. But the game, it just finds itself with very simple turns, and sort of there are a decent amount of rounds in which your choice, certainly when it comes to selecting a card, is obvious. There's not a lot of beard stroking in this game, and that's fine. It's 15 minutes. Just be aware, if you tend to trend towards the heavier side of gaming, you might find this one feels a little bit like it plays itself, perhaps, okay? Excuse me. So, what do I think of it at the end of the day? Well, I think it's a good game for what it attempts to do. I think it's very light, it's very simple, it's attractive, well explained, and I think it's going to play for non-gamers or light gamers in an interesting manner. You'll get in, teach it, play a quick round, add up some scores, and see how well you did. It's certainly not one I would play frequently, but it is one that I could see fitting a spot in many collections. This idea of simultaneous bidding is not one that's in a lot of games, so I could see some folks perhaps having this little game here as their simultaneous bidding game for that really light gaming audience. So this one's going to get a 6.5 out of 10 from me. It's not quite there. It's lacking a couple of things, certainly replayability, certainly any discernible strong strategy. There's some choices, but not very strong strategy. But I did enjoy it. And so this is one it's sort of a soft recommendation from me. If that sounds interesting, if it's perhaps a crowd that you think you might find yourself playing with often, then check this one out. That is Treasures of Cibola. Thanks very much for checking this out, everybody. I appreciate it. My name is Garcia, and I will see you on the next one.